Hey guys, welcome back to Purely Walking. It's me, Ellie, again, and today I have an updated 2025 video on the cost of living in the Dominican Republic. I did this video a while back, and so I decided to make an updated version because, of course, as you know, the exchange rate changes and a lot of prices change overall in the Dominican Republic all the time. So I think it is time for you to learn about the cost of living in the Dominican Republic and make yourself a nice little budget so you can see if with what you earn, you can live comfortably here in the DR. I live in Santo Domingo, so for references, I'll be using prices of the capital city of the DR. And the day that I am filming this video, the exchange rate for the dollar is of about 63 pesos per every dollar. All right, guys, without further ado, here goes your budget for 2025 to live here in Dominican Republic. The first and most important thing is obviously housing, which takes up a huge chunk of most people's budgets. Housing here in Santo Domingo is some of the most expensive real estate in the country, and so you can get different tiers of housing depending on obviously how high end or low end you want to go. On the low end of the spectrum here in Santo Domingo, there are a few lower end neighborhoods where you can get rent from $200 and below. The mid-tier range ranges from about $300 to $600 per month for rent in an average neighborhood. And if you want to go on the higher end and go for a good neighborhood or an apartment building with lots of amenities or even a big house or something like that, you are looking at $800 or more depending on the size, the amenities you get. For example, right here, this is an average building, but it is in a very good neighborhood. I highly doubt that you can get something like this for less than $700 to $800, depending obviously on how many bedrooms it has. This is a building that is not so modern, so I'm guessing it doesn't have a lot of modern amenities, but just because it is in a good neighborhood, I'm guessing that the average rent here doesn't go below $700 to $800, even $1,000 or more. Next, we're going to be talking about the also important transportation. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that most of you watching this video are most probably going to own a vehicle or at least get a car if you're planning to move here. So we're going to go by the way of the gasoline cost. Here, if you travel around and you don't live that far away from where you are, going around places or working, you're planning to spend about $130 to $160 per month on gasoline. That's on average. Of course, there are places here in Santo Domingo that if you live further away, or if you live like in the outskirts of the Santo Domingo, the greater Santo Domingo area, you might spend more because this city is so huge and there are a lot of traffic jams. As you can see behind me, the traffic is a little bit crazy. So, and of course, gasoline prices in this city and in this country as a whole are not the cheapest in the world. So that's about an average, but of course you can expect to pay more depending on the distances that you'll be traveling daily. And of course, you have to budget in your insurance. First of all, we're going to be talking about the very important health insurance, and you can get a very modest plan for about $50 a month, sometimes even less. And of course, if you want a more high-end plan, it's gonna cost a lot more, like 3 times more. And if you're talking about car insurance, there are a lot of different prices. Here in the Dominican Republic, you need to have one by law, and the very minimum you can expect to pay is like $8 to $10 per month if you just want the insurance that is required by law. That only covers very minimum things. Now, if you want a semi-full insurance for your car, you can expect to pay around $50 a month. And if you want a whole entire full plan for car insurance, you're going to expect to pay double that amount. Your electric bill can vary widely, specifically when it comes to the cooling of your home. So if you have a lot of air conditioners or if you only have one, it can depend on how much you pay for electricity. Most people that I know of pay between $50 and $90 per month. Those are people that have at least one air conditioner unit in their home and only turn it on at night. No budget would be complete without a little bit of money for going out and eating out, of course. Here in Santo Domingo, there are so many different options where you can eat out. We have McDonald's, like you see behind me. We have street food hamburgers. We also have very, very high-end restaurants. So it is a wide range of prices that you can use to budget in your going out expenses. But if you're going out once a week and you're doing so in places that are not so expensive, you can budget at the very minimum $100 to go out, get yourself something to eat, get a little drink with your friends every month. And of course, the all-inclusive food budget. And I'm talking about the groceries that your family's gonna need to subsist monthly. That's gonna cost you around $400 per month, and that's on average for a small family of about 3 members. And that's the basic food necessities, no caviar, okay? So just basic groceries can cost you about that much, a little less, a little more, depending on where you shop and what type of things you usually buy. As for cable and Wi-Fi, there are of course different plans that you can get with different amount of channels, with different amount of speeds for the Wi-Fi, but on average you can expect to pay at least $40 for a good amount of Wi-Fi and also cable. Now, take into account that if you have multiple TVs in the home, they're going to charge you a little bit more for each cable box that you acquire. When it comes to your cell phone plan, there are also plenty of options to choose from. I would say an average price that you can expect to pay for a good cell phone plan that includes enough minutes and enough gigs of data for the month would be around $35. A Dominican budget would not be complete without some money set aside for el salón, mi amor, the hair, the grooming, the men's barber shop, the women's salon. By the way, did you know that salons are the second most abundant business here in the country? That's because Dominican women cannot be without getting their hair done, okay? So, on average, for just a normal blowout, if you go to the salon once a week, you can expect to pay an average of $50 per month. Here, obviously, in the country, this type of service is not as expensive as in, say, the United States, for example. Most women, regardless of where they live or how much they earn, go to the salon. If you add up all of the expenses that I mentioned, your monthly budget will come up to just under $1,800 per month. Now, take into account that if you have additional people in your home, you will need to add the extra cost for, say, healthcare insurance or the salon or an additional cell phone plan that you would need to add to your budget. Now, if you have children, I suggest you also take into account private school, which is not cheap here in Santo Domingo. So with this $1,800, what you can expect is for a single person or a couple to live comfortably here in the metropolitan area of Santo Domingo. Let me know in the comments if there was anything I missed, or if you want more information on the cost of Santo Domingo. I would love to know your thoughts down below. So guys, this is me signing out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!